All right, Dolphins. So as we get ready to watch everybody else's team, everybody else that matters, as we get ready to watch those teams, the other teams, not our teams in the divisional round, we're stuck sitting around wondering how the hell can the Dolphins get better? I've got 5 ways that we can do it. A couple of them might surprise you, a couple of them might not. I'm not talking about quarterbacks and Tua. We don't need to go over that. All right. Everybody knows that situation. You take that, you put it in the basket over here. We know we're going with Tua next year. So what we need to look at is how can we take the team that we have now and improve upon it without getting, the second coming of Tom Brady. So at number 5, I've got the punter. Now I know that that's not the sexy pick. Nobody's going, ooh, Jake Bailey sucks. Now, he is ranked number 29th in net rushing. But one of the things that I looked at, half of the teams that are playing this weekend have punters in the top 8 when it comes to the percentage of their punts that they land inside of the 20. Field position is everything. In fact, I think 2 of the teams that have some of the best punters are the Jets and Patriots in terms of net punting. But, that's we've beaten them, so that's divisional wise. But the bottom line is, if you can improve upon the punter, it's a cheap way that you can get better. For a long time now, we've kind of just used the punter as like an aside, as like, oh, there's the guy. If you grew up in the 80s and into the 90s, you remember Reggie Roby. That dude, every punt went to the moon. There wasn't a lot of returns, wasn't a whole, because his hang time was just for forever. So that is the number 5 area, I think, where we can improve upon without costing us a lot of money or assets because we have issues. Number 4, now I'm going to split this one in 2 ways, kind of like, all right, we either need to get bigger at the number 4 or 5 wide receiver spot or utilize the tight end more. Okay, now I know Chosen is a tall guy, but he's not really that physical. Wilson is probably the best mid-range guy that we have. He's generally number 3 unless Waddle or Tyreek is out. Now, I would like to see us get somebody that what Chase Claypool shoulda, woulda, kind of, mighta, could have been. I don't suppose that we're going to be keeping him, but 6'4", 6'5", even better, 6'6". We need a big guy over the middle for Tua to be able to hit, since he does have a tendency to kind of sky the ball when he can't really see what's going on. As an alternative, there were a couple of weeks there where Mike McDaniel, he discovered that we have a tight end. I know Durham Smythe might not be Rob Gronkowski. I butchered both of those names. But the point is that how many times have you heard Smythe drops the ball? How many times have you heard Smythe drops the ball? Not a whole hell of a lot. We don't target him a lot, but when the ball is thrown in his general vicinity, it usually ends up as a catch and a first down. And again, we have to find the little ways that we can make this team better. If you want to run it back with the same wide receivers, Mike, dude, Smythe catches the ball. Now, I'm not proposing involving Julian Hill a whole lot because he's dropped the ball. He's not really been all that impressive, but he's a rookie. We'll give him 5 minutes. But either or, somehow, some way, we need to either get a bigger guy that Tua will target, or Mike kind of needs to get his head out of his ass and learn to use the tight end more. Number 3 is our linebacker depth, specifically in the middle, because you want AVG on the outside rushing, okay? Duke Riley, I don't want to ever see him again. It was bad, all right? Duke Riley's so bad it made us cry missing Jerome Baker, who's at least better than what you would say a guy. I'd say he's just a good, solid player. He's not going to remind anybody of Zach Thomas, but boy, when he went out, did we know it. So I would like to see us upgrade there a little bit. Tyndall might have some upside. Haven't seen really a whole lot of them, but the bottom line is inside in the middle. We're good on the outside. We've got outside guys for miles when they're healthy, okay? Now, we might have to keep on one of those veteran guys, maybe even 2. We might have to make some adjustments there in case Phillips and either or Chubb aren't really ready to go. to start the season, or AVG. I mean, that's three guys coming off of injuries. The odds are one of them won't be ready. But main thing there is that middle inside position. Other than Baker, there's just not a whole hell of a lot there. All right, at number 2, I've got replacing X. And yes, I know he's still under contract. I don't know how we can do it, but somehow, some way, we've got to find a way to have a reliable, doesn't have to be a shutdown corner, but Cater Kohu wasn't the answer. Needham came back from his injury this year. Not really ready to hand him the job anytime soon. And Cam Smith. We all thought during the preseason what we were seeing out of Cam Smith in camp was this is the dude that's gonna replace X. And then he never saw the field. How bad could he be? I don't know. Apparently worse than Eli Apple. I don't want to see Duke Riley, and I don't want to see Eli Apple ever again on the field for the Dolphins, unless Duke is just going to play special teams. So we definitely need to upgrade. We need to replace X, move on from X, trade X, buy out X. I don't know how you're going to do it. That's a subject for a different video, because we do have cap space issues, which is a subject for another video. But somehow, some way, we need to have a solid, reliable guy on the edge there to pair with Ramsey. Doesn't have to be shut down corner, okay? Doesn't have to be the same caliber that X was, but we need a guy that we can count on, number 1, to stay healthy, and number 2, that we can play press with a little bit. So that's definitely an area where that might cost us a little bit of money, because you don't want to just draft a guy and throw him out there, unless we're just going to say, what was that? That was a red shirt season for Cam Smith. We didn't hear a whole lot about that. That's a problem that needs to be solved. All right, the number 1 position that we need to take care of during the offseason, and good luck to us. I don't know how we're going to do it, but offensive line depth. Now, we know we took chicken salad or chicken, you know the saying, you know what I'm trying. It was kind of spoiled chicken salad by the end of the year. Armstead's thinking about retirement. If he does, it actually gives us a worse cap situation. So there's that. But again, kind of like X, we don't need the second coming of Teron Armstead. We need a guy on the outside that we can feel confident is going to play for us. Now, the other way that we could handle that is, offensive linemen. You can kind of draft those guys and plug them in. We've got a 1 and a 2 and not much behind that in terms of draft picks. To me, honestly, I would spend both picks on offensive linemen. If you want to go that route, you get us a franchise left tackle, all right? And then you get maybe a center, maybe a guard, somebody who's going to be with this team for a long time. You got to do better than Eichenberg and Jackson. Now, Jackson proved to be worth keeping. I'm not bashing him. Eichenberg, as we all know, at best, he is mid, okay? But bottom line is, I think that we're going to need to do 2 things on the offensive line. I do think that we should draft our future left tackle. I also think that free agent-wise, that we need to go out and get 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 2, more than 1. We need those solid veteran guys, okay, that can come in and move around, all right? The center depth, no Connor Williams is coming back. Again, that was a hardcore injury. Is he going to be ready for the start of the season? Is he going to be himself when he comes back? That's another thing that remains to be seen. I do not want to go into next season with got Eichenberg, okay, as the starting center. We need to improve the depth. Some veteran guys, they don't have to be world beaters. But again, also take into consideration, since we're not talking about the quarterbacks and we're putting it on McDaniel, to devise and tweak the playbook a little bit so that, Tua can have more. So Tua has enough time to do more than just his one read, okay? That's got to happen. Obviously, teams have figured out to take 2 steps and throw the ball to wherever the guy was supposed to be, whether or not the wide receiver actually makes that cut or not. So offensive line, honestly, 3 guys. 3 guys. Whether you're using your first and second round pick, whether you're just going to use your first to draft a left tackle, a second to draft the linebacker, whether you're going to trade up and just go for one of the best left tackles in the draft. Somehow, someway, we have to upgrade there, and we don't have any money to do it. It's a little bit early to be panicking about the salary cap. I know we're supposed to be over, but in the NFL, there's so many creative ways that we can make room for guys, and then there's also obviously, the issues on defense with re-signing guys, Christian Wilkins. That didn't sound good. If you listen to Greer's press conference, he basically said the same things about Christian Wilkins that he said about other people that left. Okay, we'll just leave it that way. It didn't sound promising. But those are the 5 ways to start off that I think, considering the fact we're not really going to make a move at quarterback, all right, I think those are 5 ways that we need to find a way to afford to be able to improve at those positions.